Embodying your characters helps you to create more affect. Sound is prevalent in most settings. The nature of the noises greatly varies from one setting to the next. Now, which kind of sound can your character hear? Which kind of sound can you hear? Do people speak? Can you hear their voices? What does these voices evoke to you? How do they feel? How do they sound? Is there chatter or is it clear? What do people speak about? What interests them? You want to focus on the topics. You want to focus on certain key words which will relate the themes of your story. Other than noises, your characters may hear music. Which kind of music? Is it enjoyable? Or do you find it loud and disagreeable? How are your senses stimulated by this music? What are you attracted by in it? How do the ambient noise articulate with the music? Since both of them are sound components, they will act in synergy in your mind. Are the sound muffled by the music? Is the music smothered by the sound? Do they cancel each other? Do they complement each other? Focus on the kind of stimulation, the kind of emotion provoked, and what makes this sound phenomenon attractive. Using some degree of abstraction helps to reinforce concrete objects in the setting. Look for contrast between ideas and things. Which images can you see? Which form does it take? Is it an ethereal message? Is it a voice? Which kind of sensation does it convey? Where does it bring you? Where do you want to go from them? And what do you want to do? Other senses than hearing should be stimulated. Sight is the most obvious, but the setting itself can have a poor luminosity. Smell is another sense. Think about how entrancing others can be, or about the complete lack of other, which is possible if you're in an inorganic environment. Think about the relationship between odor and taste. Which kinds of molecules are released through the atmosphere? Consider that your characters may not be able to perceive all sensations in this city, and they may require the help of its inhabitants. Stories are based on information deficit. Your characters will always have information and will always be in need of information. What you should ensure is that the balance between the need and the have is relatively good. What are the characters looking for? What disappeared? Which information do they need to retrieve what they lost? Which hidden information are they looking for? Where can they find it? How can they find it? How do they face the unknown? With excitement? With fear? How do they manage randomness? Your characters are discovering the city. They want to visit it. Now, which places will the character visit first? This should define the degree of affinity with every section of the city. What do the characters look for? What do they intend to find? And what do they find truly? What makes it incredible? What makes it foreign? What makes it memorable? You want to display a character, a location, or a sound element each time the characters find something new. Why should the characters be visiting this place? If they have not lost something, the characters must have another reason to visit the place. They may want to entertain themselves, for example. How do the characters access the environment? Can they access it? And should they penetrate it? This last question concerns mainly the dangers the setting may present. If the characters are on a mission to recover something, they will have an enticement to face those dangers. If not, if their only motivation is entertainment, for example, you will have to justify that the degree of entertainment they're looking for is just as balanced as their will to face the dangers in this environment. Now, what do they need to recover? Or who do they need to rescue? Which dangers could be faced? How can these dangers be handled? Which hazardous condition should they compose for? How is the atmosphere? Now, you want to get back to the atmosphere, review its composition, and see how adapted the characters are. The characters will experience damages from this new environment, especially if it's evidently hazardous. Can they enhance their capabilities in order to face these hazards more easily? It's a possibility. They can face the fauna, they can face the flora. As they crawl through these hazards, the characters may be in need of a shelter. Where can they hide? Why does this place represent safety? What makes it safe? What was the original use of this place? The characters may find refuge in a place which in itself is hazardous. It only has to be relatively less hazardous than the rest of the setting. The characters can rearrange this new refuge in order to make it more safe. They can identify any sources of danger nearby, and they can eventually, if they cannot flee, imagine their new life in this refuge.